Hello friends, thanks for joining me once again. As we continue our look at the 2005 Pascal paper, we're on question number 8. Which of the numbers, -5, 3/2, 2, 3/5, 8, is larger than its square? Okay, so this is a question that you could easily bash out if you got a calculator, but you can be a little faster if you understand some of the theory of how numbers work when they're squared. So one thing we could do is we could certainly just take all these numbers and line them up. So -5 squared is 25. Well, that's bigger than -5. And we get, 3/2 squared is 9/4, and that's bigger than 3/2, although it's not the easiest thing to see. 1.5, 2.25 here. 2 squared, 4. 4 obviously bigger than 2. 3/5 squared is 9/25, which is actually less. This one is about 0.6, and this one is 0.36. So that tells you D is the answer. And then you can do 8 squared is 64, and that just shows you that you really did everything right, and the answer is D. And you can do it that way. That'd be fine. No one would blame you. It's probably pretty quick, especially if you got your calculator and you're good with your thumbs and fingers. But if we could do this just by reading it and looking at it. Okay, so the nice thing to note is, if you think about squares, if we take x and x is between 0 and 1, x squared is actually going to be less than x. Why? Well, x is equal to x. And then if we take one of these and if you multiply any number by something between 0 and 1, it shrinks. So multiplying x by something between 0 and 1, namely x, you'll get x squared. That will shrink compared to the original starting x. Okay. And if x is bigger than 1, x squared gets bigger because you're multiplying x by something that's bigger than 1. So that sort of stretches it out, makes them bigger. And for any of these numbers less than 1, of course, a square is bigger than 0. So the -5 is doomed to failure right from the start. Even a negative number, so a number between 0 and -1, the square is going to be closer to the 0 than the x, the negative number, but it's still going to be on the right side of the 0. So if you made this connection and said, well, I'm looking for a positive number between 0 and 1, the 3/5 comes out naturally. You can just sort of read across. -5, no, that's out. 3/2 bigger than 1, it's out. 2 bigger than 1, it's out. 8 bigger than 1, it's out. It's got to be the 3/5, which I assumed was D, because they usually, when they give you a list, read in order, and yes, it is D. Okay. So not a bad question. 8 could have done it a couple ways, and I always like that in a question. We'll take a look at question number 9 in the next video.